Hi, I'm Dan Gable with Shore Murphy and Associates at Casey, and this is another episode of Big Agent in a Small Town. We're shooting this a couple days after Father's Day, so hopefully everyone had a really nice Father's Day weekend. My family had a really nice weekend for me. I had some barbecue and golf, so I was a happy camper. Our last video, we had done 5 important insurance coverages for manufacturers, and in this video, we're going to cover another 5 important insurance coverages for manufacturers. So these coverages, again, we're going to just touch on quickly. If you have any questions or want to go over anything in more detail, always feel free to make a comment on the video or to reach out to me as well too. So the first coverage we'll talk about is manufacturers' errors and omissions. So the last topic we talked about in the last video was products liability, which normally falls under the general liability for the business. And that covers any kind of bodily injury or property damage caused by a product that you make. But you can also have claims that cause damage to a party without causing bodily injury or property damage. So an example of manufacturer's errors and omissions would be, let's say that you make a part for a computer, and you have an error in the part that you make, and now the computer manufacturer loses out on business and is down because they can't get the product that you normally make to their specifications. The claim for things like lost business, extra expense, things like that would fall under manufacturer's errors and omissions. So that's a really important coverage to have, in addition to your product's liability and general liability. Next is commercial auto liability, and depending on your manufacturing business, you may have a fleet of several vehicles doing deliveries and things like that, or you may only have 1 or 2 vehicles just running local errands. But either way, there's normally going to be some kind of auto exposure for the business. And commercial auto is something that's becoming a bigger hot button for carriers. There's due to some loss severity, increased cost of repairing vehicles, things like that. So it's really important to do things like pre-screen drivers, make sure your driving history is good, things like that, to do everything you can to prevent auto claims and keep your rates as competitive as they can be for that coverage. Next, another big one for manufacturers is workers' compensation, especially here in the state of Illinois. We definitely have some of the highest rates out of any states in the nation. And this coverage is going to cover any injury to someone working for your business. So if an employee gets hurt, it's going to cover things like medical expenses, lost wages, covers from first dollar. So it's a very important coverage. And again, you want to do everything you can to have a safe work environment to try to prevent claims if at all possible. Next is cyber coverage. This has become way more important in the past few years, and is actually going to be coming up on another video soon too. We'll go a little more in depth on it. But basically, if you are keeping private information for any person or entity, or if you do any business online and or use technology at all, you definitely need some kind of cyber policy. So hopefully you have that in place now. If not, it's definitely something you want to get in place. And like I said, be on the lookout for a future video. We'll go over that in depth more as well too. And finally, last coverage is employment practices liability. And what this will do, it provides coverage for you for claims of discrimination, harassment against employees, wrongful termination. And those claims can be really, really costly, especially in the defense of those claims. So employment practices liability coverage is really important to cover those kind of things. Another bonus with that, especially if you're a small business where you probably don't have your own HR department, a lot of times an employment practices liability claim employment practices liability policy will provide access to an HR helpline where you can actually get answers to questions if you have a problem employee that you need need to take steps before termination or any other employment type of questions, that's often a resource you get with the policy as well too. So that finishes a quick overview between the last video and this one of 10 important coverages for manufacturers. If you'd like to discuss the exposures of your business specifically, please feel free to comment on the video. Also, like this video, subscribe to the Shore Murphy & Associates. It's a KZ YouTube page as well too. We appreciate that. You can also contact me by phone or text at 217-932-2267 or by email at Dan, D-A-N, at shoremurphykz, SHOREMURPHYCASEY.com. Thank you.